Bienvenidos a la Midwest Flyways podcast. I am your host, Joey Basayo, and to my right, you have Cal Ness.
Hola.
And we have a special guest. It is the Goose Wizard himself, the owner of DRC Call Company, Cory Loeffler.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much for being on, dude.
Hell yeah.
Oh, this is going to be a fun one. Thanks for having me.
Of course, dude.
We got him loose before we started.
Yeah, he's drinking
Wait, what?
Outlaw, tequila. What else you drinking? Salmon blood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Get
Some of
you
that
going.
good Kenai River salmon.
That'll get you
Oh
going.
my God. No, I just want to start off the podcast by saying that this podcast is sponsored by First Light. So if you guys haven't checked out their new stuff for 2023-2024 waterfowl season, rugged wool, we've got the straight line stuff. It is badass, so go and check that stuff out.
Have you tried it, Cory? Tried any First Light on yet? Any of the new First Light?
Probably Max Barda's
Yeah.
jacket.
Okay.
I touched it.
You touched it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Hell yeah.
Touched it.
You should.
I'll check it out.
Firstlight.com. Everyone else should check it out too. So anyway, unbelievable. Hey, Carter, intro music?
Yep. Fun fact, this is actually from one of our videos.
Where can you find those?
YouTube.
YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Cinematic hunts, educational films.
There we go.
Yeah, educational content.
Little plug for YouTube in case
Hell
you guys
yeah.
haven't heard about that.
Unbelievable. Cory, I keep hearing all these rumors that you're just like crazy organic, don't eat from a grocery store guy. Do you buy anything from a grocery store?
We buy some stuff, some milk, not a lot, ice cream.
Think you could come up with?
I'm surprised you're not into the raw milk deal.
Oh gosh, I have a story about raw milk.
Please tell.
Is it bad?
Nearly destroyed me.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Joey needs to hear this.
Oh, Chess, Joey, sit down for this one. I will tell you a good story.
I am sitting, okay?
So, had this dog, where Max Barda's dog came out of.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Red. She had a litter of puppies, and she was a super high maintenance. We can say bitch. She was a bitch. She was
a bitch, yeah.
So high maintenance.
So you can swear on the podcast,
Okay.
by the way.
Yeah.
Um,
Bitch, fuck.
So she would not leave those puppies for nothing, which seems like it's a good thing, and it wasn't. Anyway, I was like, she wasn't eating, so I thought, I'm going to go to the dairy and get some milk out of the bulk tank, milk, cream, all of the good stuff, maybe some colostrum, whatever, and I'm just going to get her to drink that. She's going to want to drink that. She wasn't drinking water. She wasn't being a very nice bitch. So, and I just didn't think she was getting enough calories to feed all these puppies. So anyway, I go get that stuff and bring it home. She didn't want to have anything to do with that. And I was like, we can't waste all this milk. So I drank some of it, and that was on a Friday, and I had a plane ticket to Alaska on Monday night or Tuesday morning, and on the plane ride there, I started getting pretty queasy in the stomach, and this bacteria called Campylobacter set in my lower intestine, and I was bleeding for days. I could not fish like more than 100 yards away from a porta potty, and I still managed to kill 150 pounds of fish and bring them all home. I just couldn't do it very far away from a porta potty. Went to the emergency room, drove myself there, which is, if you know me, that like I would have had to have been on my deathbed to do that. So that whole thing. Actually had to crap in a bucket in the emergency room. They didn't send me to a bathroom, just like had put an IV in me, I think, and put me on a bed, and then they wheeled in a, what do you call them things? Like a shitter, whatever, into the room. Wheeled that in, and they're like, okay, well, shut the curtains, do your business. I mean, it smelled like you threw 400 early season honkers in that room. It was the most vile, disgusting thing. And right after I did that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die just from like gasification over here. And like, a doctor came in and another doctor came. Like, it was just like, oh, just go see how Cory's doing right after I just dropped this bomb. And it was like,
You violated the room.
It was so bad.
You felt bad, you know?
It was anyway, so we should move on. Well, anyway, that's my story with raw milk.
Like,
but I'm not afraid of it. I'll try it again. I just should have got it from a more reputable source. It was a nasty old bulk tank that I got it from.
Because you got it from the bulk tank.
From the bulk tank, which they only sell to the pasteurization plant. So wasn't the smartest thing I've ever done.
Yeah, you fucked up.
Stupid.
Yeah, it was
Holy
bad, dude. Because I went to the place where we get it from, and they're like, yeah, it's at 48 degrees, so you're going to have to wait until it gets down to like 38, because that's when it kills all the bad bacteria. I was like, okay, cool. 2 hours later and 39 awkward conversations later, she's like, do you have your shotgun, by the way? You said you would shoot pigeons for us. And I was like, thank God. So I went and shot pigeons for her. I shot 10 for 25 shells. Not bad.
Yep.
Not bad.
Yep.
And I come back and it's still like 42 degrees. I'm like, oh my God. And her son was just like eating rocks in the driveway. I'm like, what is going on here? You know, he's just like sitting next to my truck as I'm just like going on TikTok and Instagram, and he's just like making circles in the gravel. I'm like, this is so weird. This is so weird. And he goes, do you like walks? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, me too. Puts one in his mouth and walks away. I'm like, oh my God. But I've never gotten sick from raw milk. It tastes so much better, dude.
It's good. So good. Yeah.
So
it was delicious going down. Coming out, hurt.
Bad. Really bad.
For days.
Emergency room bad.
I lost a lot of weight on that trip inadvertently. Didn't try to.
Were you actually bleeding?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that would scare the shit out of me.
Did you have an idea of what you had?
I didn't know that it was Campylobacter. They found that out with the stool sample. I just knew it was something from the raw milk because it hurt down there. Anyway.
Okay, so you buy milk from the grocery store.
Yeah, we get that there. But
is that it? Pretty much cheese?
Yeah, some cheese and butter and stuff like that. Nothing much. There's some grocery. Popcorn, you know?
Yeah.
Buy popcorn.
But like your main sustenance is from you.
Like there's nothing, like the boxed foods or all just extremely anti-vegetable oil, which is an umbrella of sunflower and corn and soybean and canola, rapeseed, all of that stuff. So terrible for you. Pure cancer. Total chemistry project. Anti that stuff, we'll always start looking at ingredients lists on boxes of anything. It's full of that. So we just stick to natural stuff. Stick to the good stuff that that we grew in the garden or caught it on a fishing rod or shot it with a bow or a shotgun or something like that. That's pretty much what we try to stick to.
Cal gives me a bunch of shit because I'm like conspiracy guy. But
let's go.
At the end of the day, you think about it, it's like, what did our ancestors survive on? And it's like, oh, okay. None of, like, not xylitol and gar gum. Like, it's none of that shit. Why is that in everything? Why is rapeseed oil and safflower oil and sunflower oil in literally everything? It drives me nuts. And I started.
Oh, it is bad.
Roy and I went on the carnivore diet for like 25 days. I've never felt better in my entire life. Like animal products, a couple of fruits, a couple of vegetables, and it was incredible. I lost 13 pounds, wasn't trying to, but I felt like I was 15 again. Like I have back pain every once in a while, and like every once in a while my left knee will hurt because I got into a car crash. None of it hurt. My energy was at 100% the entire day until I went to sleep. I slept unbelievably. And so there was no food dyes, there was no oils, there was no bullshit. We were eating ghee butter and butter that we made ourselves. And dude, I just felt incredible. And then when I started introducing like bread back in,
back to the carbs.
It was bad. Like I felt like shit for 5 days. It was incredible.
Crazy. Do you avoid a lot of carbs?
I try to.
Yeah.
I freaking love ice cream.
Yeah.
Damn it.
It's so good.
I hate that I love that so much.
That's a bad
I
deal.
gotta quit it.
You mostly eat vegetables from your garden and meat that you kill.
Yeah. I mean, now, what's his name? Computer guy, you know? He had a lot to do with the C word he's into the vegetable market now. If you know
Well,
what
yeah.
I'm talking about, really rich guy.
Uh-huh.
With
He's
the
buying up all the farmland.
appeal.
BG,
stuff.
some might say?
Mm-hmm. That
Right,
dude.
right.
Yeah. Microware or something. Is that his company or used to be? Soft.
We're trying not to get canceled here.
So, yeah.
If
Yeah.
anyone doesn't realize that.
Follow along, folks. No, that guy's bad news. And
It just
anything
seems
that he
evil, dude.
touches or has an idea in, nope, I'm staying away from it. So vegetables from the grocery store, man, they look good, but they look a little too good. When you grow that stuff and realize how hard it is to grow stuff that looks like that, but it actually tastes way better.
That's when you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, like broccoli. We can't grow broccoli in the garden. It grows, but the bugs freaking eat it so fast. But you got to think, if you're this plant growing there and you have sugars in your body, if you're a plant, you have these sugars, everything wants the sugar and everything's trying to get it, you'd have no defense mechanism. A white-tailed deer can run away. A goose can just fly away. That's its defensive mechanism.
Yeah.
But if you're a broccoli, you don't have wings. Did you know that, Joey? Mm-hmm. So you're not going anywhere. You're just going to get eaten. So the white butterflies out in the garden are laying their eggs for their little green worms. And I mean, those things are just socked full of green worms. The heads of broccoli, the only way to get rid of them is just chemicals and chemicals. Are there any green worms in the broccoli in the store? No. That stuff is perfect because it's loaded with chemicals that you can't see. So, and all of the stuff is like that. So, no, you don't really need anything more than just some milk and butter and steak and eggs. You survive on that. And then garden stuff that we grow and harvest ourselves.
Yeah.
We just don't harvest a whole lot of broccoli because it just gets eaten by the little damn green bugs. And white butterflies lay the eggs. That
Have you heard a couple of the new studies that a lot of vegetables are not good for you?
Oh, hell yeah. All of the studies. It's terrible.
Like mushrooms are naturally incredibly carcinogenic.
Oh,
Like incredibly, like they cause cancer.
wow.
And that's their defense mechanism. Is same with kale. Kale is super bad for us, apparently. Because that's their defense mechanism, is to like give off this chemical when it's being digested. And it's super bad for you, apparently.
So
I'm
like shit.
I hate kale.
Yeah, not
Me
good.
too.
It tastes like shit.
I love
I
kale.
love mushrooms, though.
I love mushrooms.
Mushrooms
So
are
I
good.
fucking-
I'm a
I
mushroom slut.
have a kale secret for you. We grow a lot of kale. We did last year, not this year. But if you want to make kale taste amazing, you let the deer eat it first.
Nice. That's a fucking really good idea.
Yeah, because backstraps are the best thing in the world. So there you go.
It's a good
Yeah,
idea.
fill them with the carcinogens, and then
They like filter it out. They have livers and stuff. So yeah, they crap it out. But,
Unreal.
That's how. I mean, that's my favorite kale recipe right there.
Hell
is just like backstraps and fried in butter or on the grill or whatever. So
Yeah, backstraps are fire.
yeah,
We live on a sheep farm, right? And so one of the sheep,
we call it Ram Ranch.
we do call it Ram Ranch. One of the sheep broke its leg, and they couldn't find a butcher. So they're like, Joey, can you do it? And I'm like, oh, shit, I haven't butchered a deer since I was 15. So it was 15 years ago. So I called my father-in-law, and Sherburne County would call him every time there was like a half-dead deer, and they'd bring it to his house. He'd butcher it and whatever. So they would eat roadkill all the time, but it wasn't dead.
absolutely.
You know? And so I was like, hey, Mike, whatever, you know, we got to put down the sheep and they're going to give us all the meat. And he's like, I'll do it. And he's like very Iranian, like old school. Yeah. And we were trying to, like, I don't want to mess up the meat. I don't know how to quarter it up right and like process it right in the freezer. And he comes over and he just cuts it like a deer, cuts the back straps off. But lamb chops, you like cut up the rib into the back strap. So you have like that chunk of meat on top.
Yeah.
But we had like 20-inch back straps of lamb.
Yeah.
Dude, that was ridiculous.
Good stuff.
Oh, so good. But I haven't butchered a deer since I was a kid. So I kind of want to get back to that.
Yeah.
What's your favorite way to make duck or goose? Just like pick one, pick your favorite recipe, like what your go-to. You want to blow people away.
Oh,
Someone says to you, I
wanna
don't
impress
like
someone.
duck. Yeah.
You're going to take out the head of Cargill.
it's the
you know.
It's the hot duck. It's the Dakota duck sandwich. The hot Dakota duck sandwich, which is the sister to the Nashville hot chicken.
Okay.
That one. That's it.
Really?
That's a banger. It's absolutely amazing.
Which is what you just talked about on our 10-minute
on
Tuesday.
the 10-minute Tuesday.
Yeah.
In case you missed it, you're going to have to go back and listen to
Oh,
that.
shit.
So we explained in detail every step of the way there. But
Write that down.
absolutely.
Second favorite. We heard that one.
Taco meat.
Taco meat.
Thigh, goose thigh, taco. It could be goose thighs. It could be duck thighs. Goose, there's more meat there. Sandhill crane thighs. We've done those into tacos. But that thigh meat, absolutely. Drummies and thighs all in one, minus the foot, the web. But, yep. That's
Do you think it's because they use their breast muscles so much more than their leg muscles? Do you think that's why it tastes so much better?
100%. It's a different color. It's a different texture. It's more. There's more connective tissue, more silver skin in the legs and thighs, so they take a long time to break down. So that's why you have to use a slow cooking method. Instapot is probably the best because it takes 90 minutes. You can use Dutch oven, crock pot as well, but the connective. So the breast meat is totally different than leg meat and thigh meat. So the legs and thighs have all of the connective tissue in there that breaks down into a gelatinous, glorious tasting jelly kind of a thing. Like if you have turkey soup or chicken soup and make your own soup broth, and then it gets and you cool it down. It's it's when it's hot, it's
Thick.
liquid, and then when it cools down, it's like a big thing of chicken jello.
Gelatin.
So
yeah.
that gelatin, it is actually, that's what it really is. That stuff, it just provides a different texture. So you can't take these recipes. You can, they just don't turn out as well. But you can't take these recipes I'm talking about for the thighs and the legs and just substitute breast meat because it's easier to get off of the bird. Like if I'm talking thighs and legs, use them because you can make the two things side by side and there's a world of difference. But different cuts of meat, they're totally different preparations and how to best eat them, utilize them.
I've always found that it's very hard to get that from the bird. What's like the easiest way that you found to get it off?
On legs and thighs, it's pretty simple. Like take and cut them around pretty much right here around it's their ankle, but you could call it the knee because most people would identify it as the knee. Ring that and then slice it up the groin, basically. Peel that skin back and then cut through this joint right here, the knee joint. Cut through that and then break that off and then leave the skin connected on the back side. And then when you pull that off, it will pull the foot, the leg, and then all of the skin stays on that side. So now you have like the end of a drummy and then just the drummy and the meat on the other hand.
Do you have a video of this somewhere?
Probably. Well, maybe not that exact thing, but I could film one. But yeah, like the hand and the feathers, or I mean the foot and the feathers stay in one of your hands, and then the other hand you grab the drummy and pull it the other way, and then you have the meat, everything that you're going to eat, and then you just pop the thigh open, slice it quick, the thigh or the hip bone pops out of the hip socket. You cut that around and you got your drummy. It's with some practice, it's
you have to do it a couple of times.
Yeah, just practice. It's literally 5 to 10 seconds per leg. It's the best meat on the bird, 100%.
Because doesn't Montana have that law that you need to take the legs out?
Yeah,
I was kind of worried about that going to Montana, and the guys that we were with a guide, and they were like, "Oh no, we'll do that." And I'm watching them do it, and I'm like, "Oh, okay,
yeah,
that's not bad."
Yep. Yeah,
but they've done it a lot of times.
It's a little bit messed up because you can leave the neck meat on an elk, which is could be 20 pounds of meat. You don't legally have to take that, but you legally have to take the legs and thighs of ducks and geese. I'll take it all, but it's just a little bit backwards how they have that rote.
Well, and speaking of that, dude, I've noticed, especially with today's technology, there's a lot of laws that are so outdated. Like, so outdated.
Dude.
So it's kind of like a two-part question.
Why the fuck do we have to put the stamp on the license?
Yeah.
It's on there. It says I bought it, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it says right there that I bought it.
I saw that this year, I think, or soon.
Yeah, it's electronic.
It's electronic now. And then they'll mail you the stamp after the season.
Like, that has blown me away for the
Yeah.
last, like, 5. I just cannot understand that. Like, because you're going to give it away to somebody, they still have to have the license that says they bought it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I can give my stamp to a guy, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yep. Signed in ink.
You know?
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude.
The one that pisses me off, I don't know if it was 1919 or 1929,
Mm-hmm.
where it's traveling across state lines,
Mhm.
where there needs
Yep.
to be a wing on.
Yep.
With today's technology, and like you have a photo, and it's like these are the only birds that we killed, right? And here's the location. Especially with an iPhone, it shows you where you took the photo.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can tell the difference between a goose and a duck, and a crane
Mhm.
and a pheasant. Why is it like that still?
I mean, I know why it's like that. I don't know why it's like that still, but they were all wrote to protect the waterfowl from overharvest from market hunting. So that's the language that they wrote all the laws with, was when the canvasbacks almost died. Then they're like, whoa, we got to stop all this stuff. So then they wrote a whole bunch of laws with language. Think of how much our human language, the English language not human, but English language has changed in just the last 5 to 10 years.
5 years. Well, think of the lingo or the lingo that your daughter uses. Hey, that's lit. Bet, fam. On God. Bet.
Oh, God.
Yep.
It's too much.
So this crap was wrote over 100 years ago.
Right.
And we have to try and read it and make sense of it and then follow these laws. Otherwise, some federal warden's going to come shove his boot up our butt. You know, it's like, no, it's not cool. It's an overreach on their part. Those laws are insanely hard to understand. And I'm not talking about our Minnesota state, your Minnesota state handbook, whatever. Those are pretty straightforward for the most part, but the federal laws are just a
Crazy deal.
A whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
How do you-
Multi-series.
How do you think we can go about to change that? Because it's driving me nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, just think about it this way.
Become a game processor. So get registered as a game processor. And then you can abide by and follow a whole bunch of different rules that so you don't have a possession limit. You register everything that comes in. You keep a logbook, and then you can set up a mobile game processing unit. So if you go on a trip somewhere, you don't have a possession limit. So there's kind of some ways around it that they wrote. You just follow them.
Have you done that?
I haven't personally, but like all the outfitters and hunting lodges that do things the right way, they are all set up as they're all
Game
set up as
processors.
game processors.
That's what
Yeah.
Angel Wing
Yeah.
did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he set up a different LLC and did that and processes all of his.
Yep.
That's so cool.
Meat through himself, yeah.
Yep,
I mean,
for sure.
he literally is a meat processor,
Yep,
yeah.
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first I had ever heard of it.
Yep.
Me too.
But
Yeah.
is there any way that we can go around and try to change that? Because we have Moha in Minnesota, and I've gone to 3 meetings now and brought it up to them, and they don't give a shit.
Good luck.
They don't
No.
give a shit. All
Those
they
are-
care about is Mille Lacs fishing.
Yeah, I think those are feel-good meetings.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
where the DNR makes their minds up before the meeting and says, we're going to hold a public meeting here and pretty much tell you what we're going to do.
Right.
But your input is greatly appreciated.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. No doubt.
So real quick, Corey,
Mm-hmm.
our podcast is sponsored by Migra Ammunitions. I don't know if you've ever shot it before,
Mm-hmm. A little
but
bit.
but they have that they have the patented stack loading, and it is absolutely bonkers
There
what
you
it
go.
does to birds. It's sick. We were shooting our 20 gauges last year, and it was like wrecking geese at like 50 yards.
Yeah.
You know, you
Yeah.
shoot 2 in the hole, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah," and then you see one flying away that's kind of crippled, and you just
Hold on, boys.
hold on,
Yeah.
give me a second. It was turning heads all year last year, but you guys can go online and find Migra and find an online retailer, pick some up for yourself on their website. It is really
Consistent.
good stuff.
What shot you like?
2.4 is a killer.
Okay.
And then we shot a lot of 2 BB, and then
1.3.
1.3 is a hammer.
There you
Yeah.
go. Mhm.
1.3
1.3
hits
is
hard.
a hammer.
Awesome.
And this year they're coming out with a 4.6, so 4 steel, 6 bismuth.
Timber Plus, yeah.
Okay.
I'm so excited to shoot that.
All right.
For like a 20 gauge.
Yep.
Ducks
At
and
ducks?
It'll
ducks.
be a good load.
Ooh.
Great timber load.
So I'm obsessed with it. Honestly, it's like really good. And one of the things that we've actually really prided ourselves on with Midwest Flyways is choosing really good companies to work with.
Mm-hmm.
and that one I'm very pumped about.
Awesome.
No doubt, man.
Obviously, Outlaw is awesome,
Awesome.
No doubt, man.
obviously Outlaw is awesome, and then Migra is just like, I don't have to worry about like, is it going to click?
Yep.
I've had one click, and that's because it was sitting in the bottom of my blind bag in water for about 2 months.
Nice. Good. Good.
So that's my fault.
Deserved it.
Perfect.
Yeah. Unreal. Cory, I wanted to ask you, I know that you render a lot of duck and goose fat.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little about that process and like how to do that?
Yeah. So probably my favorite would be January, February, March honkers will have the most, and ducks will have the most fat on them. And then May, snow geese in Saskatchewan. The snow goose thing is kind of what really opened my eyes to it and how fat and completely obnoxiously obese that a bird can get. So if you have never hunted snow geese in the spring in Saskatchewan, when they're heading back up north to nest, it's a very eye-opening experience, because coming from chasing snow geese in the lower 48, just seeing birds that are like physically fit, like marathon runners,
Right.
You know, like not an ounce of fat. And
Well, you
these
can
things
see
go for
this is like one of the few birds that I've seen where they have the sternum here,
Mhm.
and the meat is always raised above the sternum. They're muscle men.
They're ripped.
They're
Yeah.
ripped,
Yep.
dude.
And they are set up to fly a long ways for that in the lower 48. Now, here's when the jaw-dropping thing happens. I always used to think that the race in the springtime, they're pushing the snow line so hard to get to the breeding grounds to establish a nest. That's not true. The race is to get to the last carbohydrates, the last cereal grain fields in Saskatchewan, to absolutely gorge themselves on carbohydrates, and before they fly over the forest and before they establish their nest. So that's what the race is. That's what they're racing down
Wow.
here when they're pushing that snow line. So they get up there and they chill out and they hang out for like 2-3 weeks. They don't leave. They just sit there. So like you go to hunt with, say, Northern Skies Outfitters up in Saskatchewan, sort of close to Prince Albert area. Like that's where
Yeah.
the forest starts and the grain fields stop, right in that area. Those snow geese like almost can't fly out of shotgun range up there. They are so fat. You get like May 10 to May 16, and like usually it's so wild because, and I have not seen this for my own eyes, I've always left Canada like about the 16th or 17th, so I haven't seen it, but it's like there will be snow geese everywhere on the 18th, and on the 19th they're gone. It's like they all know, and there'll be like some small pockets of Ross geese left, but it's just like on one day the snow geese are like, we gone, and they're out. But up until then, those things are so insanely fat, they're bursting at the seams. Killed a neck collar Ross goose up there, and that thing got trashed. The bird itself, and I was gonna bring it home and put it on the wall. So
What do you mean it got trashed?
just like it, they just blow open when they hit the ground. They
Really?
explode, and their guts,
Oh my
literally
God.
their guts go everywhere. Almost every bird that hits the ground, they just poof, they blow open,
No
and they'll be just
way.
huge. Like their skin isn't thinner, but there's just so much greasy fat everywhere that like there's blobs of fat, and they hit the ground and they blow open. So it was like it took us 20 Ross geese to sift through to try find one like worth putting on the wall.
Oh my god!
Because
the collar on.
to put the collar on that one. So yeah, it's in the call
Holy
shop.
shit! I've never heard of that before.
Me neither.
Mind blowing. So anyway, these geese are insanely fat, and so where they store most of that fat is by their pelvic area, and they're so fat, and the skin is like just super thin and just easy
just
to
peel it
rip.
apart.
You can't pluck those birds. Like if you could pluck one, I mean, I want to watch you because it's gonna take.
You're just gonna
3
rip
days.
it.
I mean, like one feather at a time type of deal. Like it just rips so easy. So the main body part where they store all that fat is in their pelvic cavity inside of there, and it's like on a little snow goose, little compared to a honker, you can get baseball-sized gobs of fat out of these birds. They're freaking massive sumo wrestlers. They're huge because they're reserve nesters, right? They do not eat anything when they get to the tundra. The grass up in the tundra
It's like gone.
It's gone.
That's why it's saved the tundra, right?
Well, kind of. It's not the snow geese wrecking the tundra for the snow geese. It's the snow geese wrecking the tundra for other birds that have to nest in those exact same spots. Snow geese can pretty much nest all across the tundra. So like you go all the way left over to Russia and all the way to the right over to north of Churchill and Nunavut and all that stuff. Baffin Islands, like everywhere. They don't care. They can go and ruin and wreck and eat whatever anywhere, and they'll be successful. Super prolific bird. But say some shorebirds or something, some like little yellow legs with them long beaks and stuff. Those little bastards fly like down to Mexico in the wintertime and then all the way up to the top of the globe to nest. And like they have to nest at this one little spot right on the edge of the water and whatever. So those are the birds they're kind of more concerned with.
And it's because of predators will find them and trash them, or they just won't lay nests.
The snow geese have just eaten everything out around there, so then that little bird can't survive. But the snow goose is like, oh, I just wrecked this. I just ate all this, so I'm just going to go move over here. I don't care. But that little bird has to stay there. Snow goose, he can just go a mile this way. And, yeah, they're little pansies. The snow geese are crazy impressive. So, yeah, they get just fat, just huge sumo wrestler, and then they go up there, establish a nest, and literally hatch out however many little ones and eggs with their stored fat reserves. And I don't even know when the tundra grass would start to come up. I mean, in late June, you'd have nearly 24 hours of daylight up there, so the grass is going to start to come up then because of so much sunlight. So you can start to get a little bit of nutrition then, but not much. And it's not probably until, later July and then into August when they actually can start eating again. So their bodies are bonkers. Like, just imagine a marathon runner running a marathon from Arkansas to Saskatchewan. That's where they fly.
3 weeks of cheat days.
Yeah. And then 3 weeks of just nothing but double cheat days.
Unbelievable.
Marathon runner to 700 pounds in just like 2 weeks. And then they just fly around. They can't even hardly get out of shotgun range. They're just cruising around in singles and pairs. And it's like the pre-rut. So you could see a bunch of snow geese, a snow goose feed out in a field when it's like that pre-rut stuff. There might be 500 snow geese out in this field, but they will cover every inch from this road to that road to that road. Like there'll be 2 here.
Holy shit.
Go 200 yards, there's 2 here. Go 50 yards, there's 2 here. Like there's 500 of them out there, but they're spread out over a whole section.
It's unreal.
Just super weird stuff you'd can't even imagine that they're the same species if you run around the Dakotas and look at. There was 150,000, you could put a hula hoop around them, and then there's 500 spread out over like 2 miles. It's
unreal.
They're super crazy birds, and just how much they transform in such a short period of time, all for survival. So anyway, go up there, you shoot them, tons of fat on the birds, take all the fat out of there, put it in a pot.
Do you literally just scoop it out?
Oh yeah, just handfuls. It's
just fat there.
Just fucking fat. Some veins through there, a little bit of connective tissue, but it's just all just globs of fat. And then put it in a pot. I wash it usually a little bit with some salt water, salt it down and stuff, and kind of I smell it. So if a bird's shot through the guts, then no good. That's right. The one bad apple ruin the whole batch thing. Careful on that stuff. So you want headshot and wing shot birds. Just yell at your buddies and tell them to shoot them in the head. Do not shoot them in the butt because you'll
just so easy.
Just wreck them. So do that. Sift through, find the good stuff, put it in a pot, put a little bit of water in there, put a lid on it, put on super low heat for probably all day, pretty much. And all that fat's just going to liquefy and separate out from the water, and then just let it cool down. You can strain it out then to get the hard stuff, the connective tissue out of there.
You using cheesecloth, or what are you using?
Cheesecloth works really good. Anything. You're up in Canada in the middle of nowhere, so you're just gonna use whatever you got.
Right.
Yeah, I could use a shirt or something, a strainer of anything. I'm just gonna do I'm just gonna do a little bit of the work up there and then kind of finish it and refine it when I get home. But yeah, cheesecloth is perfect. That's what you want to use, and then strain it through that. Just cool it down, let it harden. You got a big jug of Crisco looking lard.
Yeah.
It's pure white.
Is it technically called tallow?
Would be probably called snow goose fat.
Snow goose tallow, or
Yeah. No, I don't know.
all right, well, we just made beef tallow the other day.
It's probably beef tallow. Did it come from like around the kidneys inside those big huge blocks?
I don't think
in
so.
There? Not sure. Okay.
I don't think so.
Yeah, something like that. But it's got a really high flash point. It's awesome for frying fish in. It gets super crispy and really amazing fish because it just fries the outside and keeps the inside
Golden.
super moist and golden. I use it for, I don't know, anything. Frying vegetables and frying
Fish.
eggs and fish and frying.
What made you want to go through all this effort to learn about this shit?
I just like bulldozed a trail and said, I think I can use this. And
was
I'm
it
just
like the
super
health
weird.
aspect, or was it like you really want to utilize every part of the bird?
Yeah, just the utilization. Like, I wonder if you can eat this stuff. I'd never heard of anyone doing that or eating it. It's like, I think you should be able to consume this fat. So we did a little bit the one day and cooked some potatoes in the fat. And they're like, you are crazy. I was like, oh, we're going to try it. I think this is going to be good. And then the potatoes were awesome. Like breakfast hash brown type potatoes.
Yeah.
Did that. And then so I just harvested a whole bunch of the fat and then started. So all the guys were Jake Slimp, Sam Thompson might have been there. I wonder who else was there. But yeah, those guys were like looking at me like a cow looking at a new gate. Like, what in the hell are you doing? Because they were cleaning the birds, pulling the breasts out, and then chucking the birds in the pile. And then I'm going through the dead bird pile, grabbing birds out of there, like looking at them, seeing where they were shot, grabbing the fat out of there, like I was sifting through the garbage.
Yeah, they think you're crazy.
Yep. Oh, yeah. They know I'm crazy. I am for sure crazy. So and
I think it's badass.
that
Yeah, it's super
confirmed it.
cool.
So, I stumbled upon that, and then I did a little bit of research, and then other people do this too. So I kind of just stumbled upon it by myself and blazed my own trail. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I had no idea it was going to work out. And then it's like, oh, shit, this stuff is good. You can cook with it, and it's amazing. So then I started doing that more and more with the honker fat, plucking a lot of honkers. Those birds, the snow geese up there, you can't hardly pluck them at all. But the honkers down here, you can pluck those. Ducks, you can pluck those. So I'm always plucking mallards. If nothing, I'm plucking the breast and then breasting the bird
With the skin on.
with the skin and fat on. And then mind-blowing
Yeah.
change. So
So I got one thing for you. That's unbelievable. First of all, that makes me really want to like try out some new shit. Like, but I gotta find the time and like really. It's probably like a solo hunt, where it's like I'm not gonna shoot him unless I know I'm gonna hit him in the head, type of a deal, and let's utilize the entire bird, right? Yep. But you might not remember this, but it was probably 12 years ago now. Came to Game Fair, and I grew up hunting with a Tim Grounds guide flute my entire life because my dad used to hunt with Tim. And so right before we're starting the YouTube channel, I went to Game Fair, and I knew that short reeds were a thing then. And so I'm going through Game Fair, and I wasn't with my dad or anything. I'm walking around, and I come across your booth. And you had like the life sentence, and I think you had something else.
like the inmate or the
Yeah.
mod. Yeah. Probably blowing the mod in some contests back then, that many years ago.
And way back in the day, I had asked Adam and Grady, I'm like, hey, can you teach me how to blow a short reed? And they're like, I'm too busy. Call this guy. Call that guy. Too busy. Call this guy I've never met. Too busy. Cool. So I go to Game Fair, and I come to your booth, and I'm like, hey, I've blown a flute my entire life. I know how to blow a flute. I know how to blow a double cluck and all this stuff. And you were working with me for like 5 minutes. And I was like right at the end of my rope where like no one's helping me. And I think I bugged you or something. and I'm like,
I don't like
hey,
where this is
how do
going.
how do I do this? And you're like, man, you'll figure it out. And you just kind of like turn to the next person. And I'm like,
Jeez, what a dick.
cool. And I was like totally going to buy a call from you. And I'm like, cool. All right. So then I walked away.
Ouch.
No, this is very true.
Oh my God.
And then I called Tim Grounds, and I bought a G overhauler from him. And honestly, that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And I'm like, I just had to fucking figure it out.
Yep.
And I figured it out. So I just wanted to thank you. Like,
You just got to figure it out.
no,
Thanks for being an asshole.
You helped me figure it out, though. Because if you would have sat with me for like 30 minutes, I probably would have been like, I need to go back to Cory.
Yeah.
It's like I have to wait till next game fair. And this is like pre-social media too. So I'm just like,
yeah, that's tough.
I'm just like, oh man. But it like broke me. I'm like, I have to fucking figure it out. And I figured it out after
awesome
a long time, but I figured it out.
I'm going to use that line more now.
Figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
You just got to figure
Dude,
it out.
you just got to figure it out, man.
Oh,
It's unbelievable.
yeah.
I love that. Cory, another one of our sponsors that I know that you use all the time is Onyx.
Mm-hmm.
So can you tell me what your favorite feature of Onyx is?
Well, I just used Onyx Hunt to put some of that delicious salmon on your plate 20 minutes ago.
It was unreal, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Utilizing that up in Alaska, looking for that permission to access the river.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Onyx, man, I'm pretty excited about the 2-finger touch distance feature, line distance.
Yeah.
Touch it with 2 fingers. It gives you the distance between
The 2 points.
That's pretty
Did you know
sweet.
that?
Instead of you just going like clicking this and then clicking that.
Going to the tools
Yeah.
and then pulling that up, like just all you have
It's
to
just
do is
quicker.
just touch these 2 points and just figure out how far it is away.
And what are you using that for?
Like how far I have to walk this way to like get around this ravine or something like that, or like where a deer trail is, or where that is, or goose hunting, duck hunting, where a house is,
Yeah.
where
Yeah, in proximity to you.
yeah,
Yep.
all that's like where things are in the field,
Yeah.
a roost or power lines,
Yes.
things, vehicles, whatever.
Yeah.
Just I don't know, just a quick touch with 2 fingers, and there you go. Hey, it's 517 yards. Okay. That's all
Yeah.
I need to know.
Yeah.
Another one I use a lot is the tracker.
Mm-hmm.
So like tracking where you walk in through the marsh and stuff, because
For
especially
duck
like
sloughs.
duck sloughs, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get in through the cattails, it is really hard sometimes to figure out where you came in
Yeah.
when you're leaving, because it's like it's a maze. And you can be really lost out there. And I'm not serious. Like, I'm not joking. 100 yards through cattails, you'd be like, oh, shit.
Yep. No, we do a ton of walk-in hunting up there. A lot of public land duck hunting stuff, and it's like that. It's like, hey, look at this. I found this on Onyx. I think we can get there. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Which way is it? Well, let me look at my phone. It's this way. Let's go.
Dude, no
How far
lie,
do we
though.
gotta go?
How often do me and you in the dark just follow an Onyx?
Yeah.
100%.
Just
Yeah. Like,
blind.
no idea where you're going. You're just blindly following Onyx. Full
Yep.
trust.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, my morning blindness, because you're looking at a phone screen. If I don't have I hate using a headlamp.
Mm-hmm.
Hate it. Like setting up decoys, doing anything, because the second someone turns on their headlamp, I can't see shit for like 15 minutes.
Right.
And so you're doing it with your phone. And it's like, I can't see 2 feet in front of me anymore.
Yep.
I hate that.
yeah, when we bring some people out, they're like, how do you know where you're going? And it's just Joey with his phone. He's like, we're good.
On the
Yeah.
lowest brightness.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like, take it away from me as fast as I can. Okay. That's
Yeah,
north.
yeah.
Let's go.
Unreal. So you can use our discount code, by the way, MWF20 for 20% off
An
our
elite
discount
membership.
for an elite membership or just a state membership, but should just get the elite membership.
elite.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of benefits with the elite membership.
Yeah.
Tons of stuff.
Any
all
state.
the time. Oh, all the other discount codes for everything
True that.
else.
Yep. There's a ton of discount codes through that elite membership.
Too many to name. Check it out.
Unbelievable. Okay.
Right.
Love that.
So, dude, you're an unbelievable goose caller, right? You
Yep.
won the North Star competition
Mm-hmm.
25 years ago or something, right?
125 years
125
ago.
years
Shit.
ago.
That was when
Unbelievable. That's how old you can live, guys, by the way, if you only eat shit you kill.
That's right. Yeah, I won a few contests a long time ago. I was just running that contest scene, driving everywhere. Kels and I, usually in her car, Pontiac Grand Prix, put a lot of miles on that
Beaut.
thing. Yeah, she's a beaut, eh? It's just, man, so many miles. And won a couple contests, Minnesota State, North Star Regional, North American Masters, some other smaller stuff. And I don't know, that like after the North American Masters, like that was kind of it for me. It's like, just good. I don't know. I'm done. I'm over it. I was selling too many goose calls at the time to like make it justifiable to spend all that time in the bullpen and blow in the contest when I could sit in the booth and sell goose calls. I'm like, well, I can. It's just probably not worth it for me to go up and like. I remember the last contest that I really tried to compete in was at this show.
Was that Game Fair?
And there was some volunteer judges, and I blew in the first round. Made it to the second round, and like by the skin of my teeth, and I blew my brains out. I thought
really well.
Really well. And just like by the skin of my teeth, made it to the second round, and then got cut after the second round. Blew my brains out again in the second round. Thought it was good. I liked it. I loved it. And like usually I hate it. And got cut. I was like, oh, we're going to find out what the judges said about this one. Go and talk to him. The guy goes, I just think your notes were a little too crisp. I was like, I'm had it. Like, that's it. That's all I needed to hear. I'm done. This is it. I'm over this. I never want to run into a judge. I've worked for, I don't know how many years that would have been at the time. Like, I've worked for 10 years to try and make my notes as crisp and as sharp as they possibly can get, because that's what we're supposed to do up here on the stage. And you told me they're too crisp and too sharp. Like, you literally have no clue what you're doing here. And I put my faith into you and paid my money so you could judge me. It's like, I'm out. That's it.
How many years ago was that?
That was, 10 or more, probably. I was just, no, peace out. So, had enough. That was the last one. That was the straw. Right
Did you start blowing in contests before you were doing DRC stuff?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
For probably, oh man, I think I competed. My first contest was, I'm pretty positive, East Grand Forks Cabela's. I could have been roughly 16.
What were you blowing?
Or so in that contest.
Or just like that?
Man, I think
it was like your calling mentor, like the call company you were with.
No one then. I think my uncle bought a Foyle's meat grinder polycarb at the Bargain Cave and Cabela's.
Yes,
and I might have used that in that contest. I don't remember. And then it was onto another company, did some work for them a little bit, and then that just didn't go anywhere real fast. And I was like, nope, I need to do my own thing forever.
So it was pretty quick.
Yeah, pretty quick transition. And I just couldn't really find a call that fit what I wanted. I tried them all out, and I would go somewhere, and it's like, well, it's like grounds is really comfortable to blow, but like my hands are sliding all over the place on the insert, so I need something to hang on to, and like the zinc.
I noticed yours are very ribby.
Yeah,
on the insert.
I wanted very defined finger grooves on the insert because my hands would slide all over the place. It gets so sweaty and you're all nervous. So I wanted that. I wanted like an oversized radius on the mouthpiece so you could practice for a long time and your lips won't get sore. Like some of the calls out there have, like when they use a cutoff tool in the lathe, they cut them off on that spot and it gets really sharp right there. So I knew I didn't want that. So I had an idea of what I wanted in a call, and I just couldn't find one on the market. Now you can, because they're
all over the place.
Yeah, you can't swing a dead cat without hitting someone that makes duck or goose calls now. So
it's true. And we're swinging dead cats a lot.
Yeah. Just wing them around, stacking them up. So I just decided it's time to
do your own thing.
Do my own thing. So I went, talked to my uncle, and I said, his name is Brian Steiger. And if you guys are familiar with the Steiger tractor, the Steiger Panther and the Steiger Cougar is the very first 4-wheel drive tractor that articulates in the middle.
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
You know those pea green tractors? You guys know what they are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my uncle's grandpa, he invented that tractor, and they made him in that shop that he still works in today. And so I went to my uncle, Brian Steiger, and I said, I want to make these goose calls, and I need a CNC lathe to do it. That's how you got to make them. And he's like, well, I just bought one. I haven't ran it yet. We haven't plugged it in, but we got one. I was like, whoa, that's sweet.
Yeah.
How do we run it? And he's like, here's how you run it. And he hands me this stack of programming manuals that are this big. He's like, here's how you run it. I was like, I have no background in this whatsoever. Okay. So I go home, and I was selling insurance with my parents at the time. So I was selling insurance during the day, and I would go home at night, and I'm just like flipping through these programming manuals, trying to understand this crap, and it is the most boring stuff you could ever sink your eyes into.
Hell yes.
So I picked it up, kind of half-assed it, went out there, turned the machine on, started programming, drew some stuff on paper, put it on the computer, plotted some lines out, went to the lathe, made some disgusting looking things that tried to be goose calls, and then just kept refining it, and then like I don't know, months later the life sentence was born, and that's our flagship goose call. We still have that thing in the offering today. It's been like slightly refined and smoothed out and stuff like that over the years, the last 15 or so years, but that was how that was born. And then I just wanted to make the shortest goose call possible. Like, didn't care.
I feel like that's your best fucking selling goose call, because everyone who hunts lessers has that short drop XL.
Wild. Oh, that thing's
nutty.
That
dude.
thing's crazy.
What made you make the reed like that, where like you can't tune the reed? You know what I mean?
The quick tune posts on the calls. I think I was talking to Sean Stahl a long time ago, and we were just talking about reed placement. He's like, there's no reason you want to move the reed forward. I was like, no, you'd never want to do that. So then Sean designed a quick tune set of guts, and I was using those for a while, bought those, and then designed my Goose Wizard guts off of those guts that he designed. So they're all very similar, like geometrically, they're all very similar. But my reed is unique, very unique. I am a designer, developer, inventor, sort of. I do not like to follow or copycat anything. Like, that's just my style. I'm not a copycat. I'm not going to go and just take the inner workings of a goose call or duck call and just copy it because someone else made it and they were successful with it, and then go and put my stamp or my laser engravings on the outside and call it mine. Like, I'm going to design the thing from inside to out, front to back, top to bottom, 100% mine. And then, like, go look at the duck call, like that Harlot duck call that we just released. Like, look at that thing, take that thing apart, look at the tone board, look at the reed. Everyone that does that knows duck calls is like, how in the hell did you come up with this? I'm like, well, let me tell you. So start chopping some things up, but that's just how I go about everything. I want to figure it out. I don't want to just copy it and make it. I can do that with anything. I could copy whatever I wanted to copy and just make it. But to design something, you have to understand every aspect of the thing that you're designing, so that when you change a variable, you know what the outcome is going to be, or you have a pretty good guess. So you know which variable to change and then how much, and then go from there. So we've got so many products on the list right now, and I'm just getting stuff dialed and going through with it. But like a new set of goose guts soon. We just released the duck call. Spec call is like on the verge of coming out, but I just don't like to release cookie cutter basic stuff. Like, if I'm going to release something, I want it to be revolutionary, original, like mine, and I want it to be better than anything that's on the market. So like, that's my goal all the time when I'm setting forth designing something. So the spec call, it's like been on my list and on my radar for years, but it's just like I'm struggling to make something that's like monumental or way better than anything else that's out there. They're very basic. They're complicated, but they're very basic as well. It's hard for me to say exactly, define a spec call just in a few words, but there's a few things there that I think I've found out and that I'm leaning towards. So we got some cool things coming out with that, and then that set of goose guts, and then like, man, projects down in the future. I've got like product releases for the next 2 years planned out of all this stuff that I'm working on. But that's
unreal, man. I want to pivot. I want to ask you, tell me We'll go through a couple things here, but tell me your worst hunt you've ever had.
Oh, really pivoting here.
Yeah.
My gosh.
What are you excited about? What was the worst fucking day?
Yeah, exactly.
worst
No,
day.
we got you excited about some stuff, and
Yeah.
now let's talk about some real stuff.
Reel it back a little bit?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, man. The worst hunt, man, this one sticks out in my mind a lot. So I'm a big dog guy, and did not have a dog get shot or anything like that.
Thank God.
It's not going to end in that. But we were hunting down in Fergus Falls. I remember I was hunting with Ramey Denzel, and everyone knows Rambo. He's a wild man. He's a great dude. I don't remember who else was in there. We were really close to Dave Reese's house in one of his pits, and I think his boy Ben might have been with us that day. I can't remember for sure, but I know it was close. It was one of those days in there. But so we got my dog Boone with us, and he's going fetching us some geese. We had an ice eater out in front of the pit, and Boone's getting some birds for us, and we sailed this bird all the way across the CRP field. It's way the heck out there. It's dead. So Dave comes over and checks on us with the Ranger, and it's a 4-seater Ranger, and he comes and checks on us, and we're like, hey, we sailed one, and it's that way right there. And he's like, oh, so Ramey jumps in with him, and then he's like, throw that dog in here, and we'll go find it. So they throw the dog in there, and he just goes flying across the CRP field.
Gross.
Wide open. And it's snowy. It's late season. It's December. So they can't see anything under the snow. They're just blindly bombing ass through the CRP field. And they hit a log or a railroad tie or something big, a rock possibly, under the snow that they didn't see. It hit it so hard that it completely blew the tire off the rim. It didn't blow it off, but it dented the rim. It was so sharp.
Wow.
Blew through the tire and then dented the heck out of the rim. So the wheeler went flying. And my dog was in the back seat, not in a gunner kennel, because I didn't know about gunner kennels at this time. This is pre-gunner kennel introduction. Like, I'm a huge gunner kennels fan now. One of the reasons for this exact reason. But so the dog's in the back seat, and that's Boone, man, and my homeboy, and we had been training so hard up to this point, just making awesome progress training. He flies up into the ceiling, whatever. He just gets tossed around in the backseat of that Ranger, and like completely tacos him, right? Just folds him in half, and he down in his, this is going to get some medical terms here, but down in his L7S1, so his very lower back, he had an intravertebral herniation, meaning the disc in between his two vertebrae herniated in towards his spinal column, rendering that disc completely useless. So it's just bone on bone right there in his L7S1. That junction is what takes all of the abuse and motion from locomotion. So when a dog's walking and running, that joint right there takes all of it.
So let's not hurt that. Yeah.
So at like two, he was probably 2 and some change, I think, when that accident happened. From 2 years, he's had just bone on bone contact. Like, from 2 years old, he had the back of a 12-year-old dog, from 2. And then we went on, and he got his master title, his AKC master title, his HRC hunting retriever champion title. I did that. Then I sent him to the Grand with Chris Aiken. Chris ran him there. He failed the Grand. They failed him on the Grand on the very last bird of the last day. He smoked everything, except he broke on the upland day on the very last day. And then I sent him down to do some pointing stuff with Troy Benson, and then he got his pointing title like 45 days with Troy or something like that. The fastest, like, he just could figure it out. He's like, what do you want? And I'll do it, kind of a dog, just a freak. And so he did that, and then when I got him back from Troy, I was like, man, he's like 4 and some change or nearly 5 years old. He had a couple litters up that point, and it's like something's wrong with him. Like, he couldn't jump. He didn't want to jump. He wouldn't want to run. He was like very lethargic, didn't want to move around. And so it's like, oh, he must have tweaked something, hurt his leg, whatever. Start doing x-rays, start doing all this stuff, and then find out that that accident caused all of this, and his back has been like an 80-year-old man since he's 2 years old. So like I didn't know any of this happened, and the vet's like, when was he in an accident? I was like, he didn't show any pain that day of the accident or after, because he's psychotic. Like his pain tolerance is through the roof. So he was a little bit slow, a little bit stiff, but didn't show any like pain at all.
Wow.
So then fast forward to x-rays, and the vet's like, when was he in an accident? I was like, oh, he's never been in an accident. He was like, well, he was. I was like, oh shit. He was. Like the ranger. I completely forgot about it because he can't talk. He can't tell me like my freaking back is killing me right now. You know, he's just like, let's go hunting. You know, that's his mentality, you know?
Right.
So basically from then on, that arthritis in there got so bad, like I had to retire him at 5. Like he was absolutely just skyrocketing with popularity. And just, I mean, he picked up in 2019, 18 or 19, which year? I forget him right now. Pre C word. I think in 18,
good job.
He picked up like 64 bands for me.
Good Lord.
Wow.
And like 3 of them were from Minnesota. I mean, we were everywhere together, you know?
Yeah.
And then that was pretty much, that was like one of his last seasons, and he just slowed down. He's just couch dog now. So like, oh, it rips me apart. But yeah, like lost my homeboy because of that hunt and that stupid accident, and that's
crazy.
that. But like I have to leave the house, leave the driveway in my truck to go on every hunting trip, and he's sitting there in front of the garage
wanting to go,
staring at me like, what's up? He's like, nah, he's 10. He will be 10 here in a couple months. And like, oh, sweet, just like, let me take my heart out of my chest and just rip that in half. This is cool. And he just like waddles and gimps around the house. He can't hardly move his back legs, and it's like, yeah, it's rough. So there we go. We explored all of it today.
That's unreal, man.
It's tough.
Yeah, that sucks.
So
what's the best hunt you ever been?
The best hunt? Oh man. I mean, oh boy.
Tell us a couple fun ones.
You gotta talk about hunts with your kids. They're all wild. They're all so special. Leah's first turkey, I mean, that one really stands out. That one was wild. I had fallen asleep, or I was just about to fall asleep. She's 5, sitting in the blind with me. I called a little bit. I had been driving around. She fell asleep on me earlier, sitting in the blind. So she got pretty good rest, and I was super tired. So I called a little bit, and I was going to go to bed, and she's like, there's a turkey. I was like, she's a 5-year-old kid looking for turkeys out the blind window.
Yeah.
I was like, are you sure? Yeah, he's coming. So I look up. Sure shit, here's a turkey coming walking. Is funnier than heck. So we popped that thing, and like Leah's first turkey, that one's a good one. All of her first duck and goose and deer, and Eva, little 3-year-old, or she's 5 now. She shot a turkey when she was 3, but just
badass.
Like all of those kids' first birds helped to like get my fire going from like bringing me back to my first hunts and when I was young, you know, because you start doing it so many days every year, and that fire starts to burn out a little bit, and then you take someone new, and then you watch that fire grow, and then it stokes your fire a little bit, so it gets me all revved up. So I just love that aspect, the introduction of the kids.
What do you think is the best way in order to, so like for all the dads out there that want to take their kids hunting, what was the best way you found to make sure your kid is having fun in the blind? Because when I was a kid, my dad did such a good job of it.
Yeah.
Year and a half, he's bringing me out there, and my foot got stuck in the mud. That's my first memory. And it's just like, but I was always warm. I was always like occupied.
Snacks.
He didn't just like give me a tablet, you know,
Yep.
because it was 1995.
Yep. Right.
And so what have you found is like the best way to get kids interested in hunting and to like keep them interested in it?
Rule number 1 is snacks. Absolutely. That is it. So you have to not just like grab some snacks, grab some snacks, double that, and then grab anything else that could be consumable as well. That's what grabbing snacks means.
Yeah.
It's not just like, yeah, we got 3 packs of the things.
3
whatever.
granola bars.
Yeah, granola bars.
There you go.
Yeah, something, whatever. I was thinking gummy bears or whatever.
There you go.
But
That's more fun.
no, I mean, it's like a lot of snacks, more than you think you could ever consume. That's enough snacks. And then dads or future dads listening to this will be very guilty, I'll guarantee it, of being very success or kill focused and kill oriented. That's not what we're doing. That's not why we're out here with the kids. Not our number one priority is not to kill something and fill a tag. So just know that. And I've been guilty of doing that same thing and, having that train of thought, but that's not it. We're out here to experience nature and have a good time. And if we're able to shoot at something, would it be a turkey or a duck or whatever, then good. Let that happen, but don't force it to happen. Don't be dragging your kid through the mud at all costs to try do the thing to get you to where you need to shoot. It's like, go bird hunting, so it doesn't matter if you kill anything or not. Turkey hunting is probably the best. Early season goose is probably pretty good too, but because it's just comfortable weather and it's just comfortable and it's just fun to be outside. So just figure out all the things that can go wrong. Mosquitoes and wood ticks, they're gonna be both in turkey and goose hunting, and bring lots of snacks, and then don't put any pressure on killing anything or filling a tag or whatever it is. Like, that will happen. That'll come. We just had to practice just like going hunting first. That's what we're doing to initiate the child into hunting. We just have to practice going hunting. That means putting our boots on and getting in the truck and not falling over in the mud. Like those little things. And then one day we can practice shooting the gun, at a duck or something like that. But just baby steps. We go out with our buddies and it's like clockwork, you got the blinds, I got the guns, who's going to park the trailer? Boom, we got that. We got decoys going. Like, it's all clockwork and we got all this stuff going on, this whole big circus, and it's all organized. Like, it's not like that. It's just a kid that's going to screw up everything you could possibly screw up, and it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Have fun. Sweet.
Yeah.
Let's laugh. Yeah. Like, oh, did you go turkey hunting? You know what? We didn't. We saw a bunch of, we fell in the mud once, and then we got wet, and then we saw some deer tracks, and we followed the deer tracks for a while to try and find a deer. Like, that was our day one of turkey hunting, Like, didn't have anything to do with turkey hunting hardly. But
yeah.
So that's actually some very solid advice for all you homeboys.
One thing that I really remember about my dad is he went hunting with Pete, Adam, Grady, and all these great guys.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you think about it. So you're going to go out and set up decoys for your son or daughter, It's like half the time it's like, hey, you sit here. I'm going to go do this, and I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
It's dark, dude.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid and just being like, oh, where's my dad? Where's my dad? It's so scary here. There's a spider. Oh, my God.
Yep.
But he always had really good friends that were so good with kids. They made me feel so important and, like, having so much fun. So I think another thing is, like, choosing the people that you're taking your kids out with.
Mm-hmm.
It's like showing them that community and that camaraderie. It's like, that's so much fun. That's 90% of hunting.
Yep.
Like the people that you're hunting with,
Mm-hmm.
it fucking matters.
Yep. Absolutely.
Unreal. Cory, I have a great topic for us to close out with.
Mm-hmm.
But before we do, another one of our sponsors for the podcast is SoundGear. And I don't know if you protect your hearing currently.
Oh, I did not do it soon enough.
It's bad now?
What?
It's bad.
Yeah,
God.
exactly.
That gets me every time.
So, that said, if you don't want to be Cory, then invest the money in your hearing so that you can hear for the rest of your life. One of the most crucial things, one of the most crucial senses. Can't imagine.
Right.
Can you imagine being 16, literally just not hearing anything? People are talking to you.
It's my dad.
I know. It's
no,
really
it's
bad.
like that's like the number one thing to Alzheimer's
Mm-hmm.
is your loss of hearing.
I'm scared
Yeah.
to death.
Very scary. And you can use our discount code MF125 on Instant Fits. Gets you $125 off a $400 set of instant fits, which they're like currently working on too. So unbelievable. Go do that. Protect your hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate it. Cory, how has social media changed hunting? And like, give me your thoughts on some of that.
Oh boy. Well, the Insta famous hunters that don't utilize birds, animals, anything that they've killed, if they're not respecting it, it just goes against how I was brought up and the rules that I followed when I was young, which was like the only things that I could shoot with the 22 were red squirrels and pigeons that I didn't have to eat. I mean, if I shot a gray squirrel, that's big. So like you got to eat that. The red squirrels do damage and they'll dig into buildings and stuff like that. So that was the reason. Like
That's what your parents told you?
Yeah, my parents lived like right on the edge of town, so it was aunts and uncles. But yeah, we would go out and that was to mitigate damage and just clean out the red squirrels from around the farmyard because they just get into crap and are building nests and storing, digging and chewing through all the stuff and just wrecking crap. So
whatever.
So yeah, that was okay, is to shoot pigeons and shoot red squirrels, and you don't have to eat those. But like anything else, anytime you pull the trigger, you can't take that bullet back. Once you pull the trigger, it's gone. And if you want to go shoot a gray squirrel or something, that's fine, but we're eating that. And we didn't go, my family, aunts and uncles, grandpa, they didn't go deer hunting. They wanted to shoot a big buck, but it was more so for the meat. And it was all about the meat. So we go hunting, we got getting meat and we're processing it and filling the freezer with it, and it's a whole ordeal and family tradition and stuff. So hunting for me has always been about sustainability, sustenance, and respect for the animal, taking something's life and then using that meat, flesh, hide, whatever it is, and using it to its nearly its full extent or the best of my abilities.
And you feel like people nowadays aren't doing that because of social media? Or what?
Social media, the way it ties into that is a lot of people just want to go out and shoot a whole bunch of things and pile them up and take a picture and then just wash their hands of the things that they just killed and they took the lives of after they're done with their picture, because the picture is what's important to them because that's what's going to make them look cool. But after the picture's taken, there's just work that needs to be done now, like cleaning birds and dumping birds and stuff like that and eating it and knowing how to you prepare it, all that stuff. It's just work after the picture's taken. So a lot of people just view that stuff as just worthless, just work. It's just a headache. So I don't want to have anything to do with it. So take the picture and give me my picture and let me go home, And those guys with that mentality, I just really have a lot of beef with that person because I grew up so much the polar opposite from that.
Yeah.
All about respect to the animal,
and the resource.
Yeah, and the resources, just paying attention to your gun, what you're doing, what you're shooting, and beyond your target. And then once you pull that trigger, you can never take that bullet back. So we're not bass fishing here. We're not.
You're not putting it back in the water.
No shoot and release going on.
Oh, shit.
Well, and devil's advocate, do you think that has to do with how they were raised, or
could very well be? Yeah.
Because my dad put such an emphasis, because I was shooting guns so young, like possibly way too young.
Sure.
And he had put such an emphasis on gun safety since the day I was born.
Yeah.
And I was 4 years old. He gave me a lever action 22. I'll show you before you leave. But it's the coolest freaking gun ever. And he was like, okay, you need to understand how a gun works, and you need to understand if you're going to point the gun at something, you're going to kill it. Load it or not, you're going to kill it.
Yep.
And I'm in the blind and I'm just touching my gun and I'm pushing against the safety. You know what I mean? You push in the safety and then there's a knob on the other side poking out.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I'm making sure that never even comes out. So I'm just holding onto my gun right there.
Yep.
And the amount of unsafe gun handling I've seen in my life makes me not respect that person. Like it hurts my soul. So it kind of sounds like that's what it is for you.
Yeah.
On using the resource properly.
Yep. Yep. I would agree with that 100%. It's, those first few experiences you have and the way that you're taught to do something or the way that you're brought up sticks in your mind, and it's like chiseled.
It's like a pattern for the rest of your life, honestly.
Yep. And that's kind of what you fall back on. So for me, that's the sustenance portion of it, and eating what we're killing and using it to survive. So my grandpa grew up right in the heart of the Depression, where there was no money to be had. No one had any money, so it was utilize everything that you can possibly utilize.
Trying to survive.
Yeah, just trying to survive. And he had a very wild, pretty intense childhood. His mom passed away. She had 3 boys. He was the oldest. She passed away. And then he was 14 going to college in Crookston, Minnesota. And then his dad, my great-grandpa Oscar, just fell into this just super deep, dark depression because his love of his life, the mother of his children, just passed away very understandably. So he just fell into this super dark depression where he was like, he wasn't able to function. So my grandpa, 14 years old, had to raise his dad and his 2 younger brothers,
Holy
and his
shit.
mom just passed away. Like,
Crazy.
I mean, like the hero of my life, right? Like,
Right.
so blessed to have had him teach me, just so much stuff over the years. Super cool dude.
I mean, it's a hell of a person to learn from.
Oh, yeah. So, like, everything that he taught me, like, that's stuck up here.
For
you
sure.
know, forever. So, it's like what I go back to all the time, and that's why.
What would he do?
Yeah, what would he do? And that's how he taught me how to raise stuff, or how raising his grandkids and helping out with his grandkids. Like, he always had so much time for kids, and his grandkids like take us anywhere, and it would take him 10 times longer to get the job done on the farm, whatever, because the grandkids were with, but like he didn't care any bit about it. He had so much time for us and just wanted to teach us through example, and just always had a smile on his face. So that's who I fortunately got to learn from, and I feel like I learned the right ways on how to do all that stuff, and just super blessed that that's how it transpired. And I just see a lot of guys doing it in ways that I don't agree with. So
I feel like they're doing it for the glory.
You're doing it for the glory, and that's not like my grandpa's super humble. My uncles are, and those are the men that I learned from, and that's how I was raised. And like I think there's a lot of humans out there with penises, but there's not a lot of men out there. And like I had real men in my life, you know, my dad and uncles and grandpa, like those guys, they're men, like real men. And now you've got just the real man is a dying breed. And there's a lot of really good women out there. You know, there's a lot of real women,
Right.
But the real man, oh boy, I don't know.
So with you being raised by those people, what's some advice that you would give to people my age and younger to be more like that?
Oh, just do the right thing when no one's looking. Don't partake in so many big dick contests. They won't get you anywhere. Just be more humble, and don't boast around, you know, with whatever it is. Just do the hard work. Even if it's not necessary, do the hard work if it's the right way to do it. Like growing a garden, is it more efficient? Is it faster to go buy a whole bunch of groceries from the grocery store and vegetables? Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, is it the right way? I don't know. It's your choice. You do whatever you want. But, you know, put wild game in the freezer and focus on that. Hunt with your freezer in mind and your stomach in mind, not with a pile picture in mind. that type of mentality, just go at life like that, and it will come back. A lot of doors have opened up for me in the last 15 years because I live like that. That's how I hunt. That's how I carry on with my life. I don't give a shit if you don't like it. I know a lot of guys that don't like to hunt with me probably have talked bad about me behind my back because I taken
You getting on people's cases for not doing that type of shit?
Yep. Yeah, I'll rip on them, I like call them out on it. I call them out on their bullshit, something that I don't agree with, that I don't think is respectful. And I've burned some bridges doing that, but hey, it's
the way you want to live.
Yep, it's the way. Yeah, it's my opinion.
Yeah,
I'm entitled to it. So,
well, it's opened doors for you with Sitka, and look at all the shit you've done with Sitka.
Yeah. Those guys. Just start talking to some of those guys and having them hear my story and kind of how I was brought up and what we're into with.
And they're like, we want to film that.
Yeah,
shit.
Killing fish and killing animals and hunting with my freezer in mind and growing a garden and whatever. And they're like, oh, this whole package is pretty cool. We're going to focus on this and do some stories over here.
Because it's not really highlighted these days.
Not really, no.
Yeah.
No. And
I thought that was one of the coolest things. Because, like, obviously you pissed me off all those years ago, but it was for the better.
for your own good.
It absolutely was for my own good. And, like, doing research on you, and, like, when Simon started hanging out with you, I'm like, really? Then I started, like, following you and, like, seeing what you're doing. I was like, okay, this is pretty fucking cool. I need to let my stupid pride and my bullshit go. Like, he was just, like, I was just an annoying kid at Game Fair. Just, like, bothering the guy. And now I'm at Game Fair, and I'm like, goodbye. You know what I mean? Like, I totally understand it now.
I can't believe that happened.
It's unbelievable.
How hot was
awesome.
it that day? Do you remember the temperature? Like,
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
probably a heat index of
Probably
108.
about like
Today.
Right.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Oh, my
Right.
gosh.
Well, and when I was young, dude,
It's not me.
I was
honestly.
a dink.
Yeah.
I'm sure I was like, give me all your attention.
You probably
I
had
need
to
your
send him
attention.
away. Yeah, you were like, this kid's trouble.
But then following you over the years, I'm like, wow, this guy is doing some really cool shit, and I have
thanks.
nothing to be upset about. And plus, it made me a better human in general.
Perfect.
Cool.
It works
So-
out.
Worked out.
Great last question for you. Tell us the craziest hunting story you have. Like, what's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you hunting, or like?
Well, Cal,
it doesn't-
I don't know if you know this, but Cory is like a band connoisseur, which we
I did
haven't
know
talked
that,
about.
Yeah.
But like, you went trying to find a red, white, and blue neck collar,
I got it.
right?
Got it done.
That's so sick, dude.
I got it done. That was my.
We have to have him back. I mean, obviously.
Right.
That was my 180-inch trophy buck right there. Was red, white, and blue honker neck collars. Once I figured out that they made them and they existed, I was like, okay, I'm going to kill them. So I set out.
It's unreal.
Got those, got it done. Got it done, and the white one was the last one.
I thought it was Saskatchewan was your last one.
No, Saskatchewan was a Ross goose, blue collar on a Ross goose, but that's not in that deal.
Right. What'd you do? Blue Earth,
Yep, Blue Earth.
Saskatchewan
No.
for red.
No, Alaska, and then Tennessee for white.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Crazy.
That's so sick.
I tried
Yeah.
to kill, and I found and I shot at 2 Chicago birds. I really, really wanted a white Chicago bird from Ryan Askren, his study. I found a couple, like those Chicago birds would kind of trickle through my area a little tiny bit, catch a corner of Lake of the Woods. And I put so much time focusing on trying to kill one of those, and a couple people in the area did out of like randomly, got lucky. And I was never able to get one. I spent way too much time trying to find those damn
That's
things.
pretty cool, though, dude.
It is cool.
There's a couple GPSs on some of those, and the maps are awesome. They're really neat. The oval looking migration that they run north and south on. But so anyway, I just like waved the white flag on those Chicago birds. Like, I just don't think it's gonna happen. They're so few and far between.
Well, the study that they did on them is nonsense, where they thought they were there all year, and in reality, they're going north of Thunder Bay.
Yeah, for sure.
But like all these other birds are coming in, and they would just peace out.
Yep.
Like overnight.
Yep. Yeah.
So cool. I did so much research on that study because we went in hunting with what was when we were in Joliet?
Foul feathers.
Yeah, foul feathers.
Foul feathers.
Yeah, because they hunt right near the Chicago Metro.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
And
great
like,
dudes.
as we were going out there, I'm like, oh shit, there's like a huge study out there.
Yeah.
This is so cool. And then I looked at all the band tracking and the GPS transmitter data, and I'm like, whoa, these birds are fucking moving, dude. Because they thought they had like 20,000 residents hanging out there all year. In reality, they are migrating hard.
Yeah.
And they don't come back to like what, January?
I don't know. I mean,
Like they head north so early in the year, and they don't come all the way back until like January, February.
oh wow. Okay.
Like it was a weird migration pattern where everyone was like, why?
Yeah. Oh, that is really goofy. We were catching the Chicago birds on the molt migration in early September. They would go up like straight north, and then they would come down a little bit west, and that's when a couple of the ones that would come west would hit like Lake of the Woods area, and that's kind of where you'd find them. There was a couple shot kind of in my backyard, Thief River Falls, Red Lake Falls. I know a couple local kids that killed them over there, but they're just so few and far between.
Yeah.
I looked at tens of thousands of birds and trying to find those. But the craziest story, waterfowl hunting story, crazier than any neck hauler, sitting there photographing. I used deadly decoys, honkers, for 2 years, exclusively deadlies for 2 years.
Why?
It was a long time ago. No one else was doing it, and I needed to, and I believed that they would work. But I just had this question, like, I know they're going to work. I just don't know why they wouldn't. And I just had to prove it to myself that you can kill honkers over. They're not the most realistic looking thing. So, but they have a time and a place. So I used those for 2 years. And so I was photographing a bunch of birds down in Fergus Falls, set up, found this feed.
Oh, those are those weird ones on stakes that are flapping?
No, I mean, these are just like deadly snow goose decoys, like this, like a lot of people use the snow goose. They were like one of the original ones that had the 3D molded head, and then they were the bag behind it. So the honkers were the same way, like 3D, like a plastic head, and then a bag behind it that was deadly. And it was like way back, it was like, for snow geese, you ran deadly socks or cello socks, It was way back or whatever. So running those exclusively for a couple years, it was badass, not hooking up to my trailer one time in 2 years and throwing everything in a seed bag in the back of the pickup box. We got them to work really good multiple times. I learned so much about geese and decoys and how geese perceive decoys from using those not very good looking decoys for a long time. I learned, I'm very glad I did it. It was really cool. So anyway, we're taking some photos, myself, my brother-in-law, we're set up in some ground blinds. We have shotguns we're not really going to use them probably unless something like see something, whatever. So like we're set up just super weird, like a long ways away from each other in the spread, and we both had cameras, and the roost starts blowing up and starts coming in. So here come the geese, and we're snapping pictures, and they're landing. I had killed one goose, so this is important. One of the first honkers that came in, it was just a couple birds, and it just flew right over the top of me. I was like, I just want to kill one, and I'm not going to scare anything away, so I just shot this bird and got it and put it, like curled it up like a sleeper, like right behind my ground blind. And I was set up on a fence row that was an old fence row that didn't have many posts. And then like 80 to 100 yards in front of me, there was a fence post there. But where that fence row was, it's an old fence row where the ground had gotten higher right there.
Yep.
So they always, the mound right there. So I was like the highest thing. So I was kind of looking down over the spread, only just a couple feet, but I was like, my head was like the highest thing. This is important too of the part of the story. That's why I'm explaining all these details. Sounds dumb. So anyway, we're sitting there and geese start pouring off. I have this one dead honker. It's right by me, and geese are pouring off, and they're coming in, and we're taking pictures, and we took some pictures of some ducks, and And then we're sitting there, and one of the guys said he was going to drive by and he might come out to hunt with us. So I was like, okay, had it back in my mind, like he might come out there at some point. So there's like a lot of geese in the decoys right now, kind of in the decoys and on the edge. And there's like maybe 2,000 or something. There's a shit pile of them.
Oh, shit.
And so then all of a sudden I'm sitting there, and I remember I had an old, that Avery skull cap, the beanie, the fleece beanie, super popular. Had one of those on, and it was camouflage. And I was sitting up in my ground blind, so my arms were above the armrests. So I was taking pictures.
Yep.
So my head is the tallest thing, and all of a sudden I feel, and I guess in a podcast, I'll have to explain this, what I felt. But what I felt was like someone's hand. We're half a mile from the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
What I felt was like someone's hand setting on top of my head. Like someone just placed their hand on top of my head and put like 4 pounds of pressure on my head. And I got my camera up to my face, and I'm like, and I froze. It happened, and I didn't even flinch. I just froze. And that's all I feel is like a hand under my head. And like all the birds' necks go up. So I'm like, whoa, shit. I'm like, oh, dude's out here. Like, I don't know how the hell he snuck up here to the middle of a chisel plowed field. But I was like, I better take a couple more pictures because the geese are going to fly away because the dude's here. Like,
yeah.
What the hell? And so I take a few more pictures, and now the hair's standing up on the back of my neck. This is honest to God. If you have a Bible, I will tell the story with my hand on the Bible right now. I swear to God, this happened. Honest truth. So I'm like, now I'm getting freaked out. I'm like, what in the hell? Who is behind me? And how did they get here? Like, there's 2,000 honkers, like, within. The furthest ones are, like, a ways away, 300 yards, but the closest ones are, like, 50 yards away,
Yeah.
They're right here. They're in. And I'm like, so I put my camera down, and I was like, what's up? Nothing. Silence.
Oh my gosh.
So then my eyes are this big. And I'm like, I don't know who's behind me right now, but the only thing I could think of is I was about to get my throat slit because I have the person did not answer me. I said, what's up? And it's silence. And I'm so freaked out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why am I not dead yet? Like, I'm going to get my throat cut. I have no clue who's behind me or why they put their hand on my head. And I go to turn like this, right? And I swear to God, feel claws come through my hat.
Oh.
And like
my
touch my scalp.
gosh.
And I'm freaked out, and I spin around, and it's like commotion, and I spin around like 5 feet behind me. There's a snowy owl sitting there.
Oh my gosh.
So my head was the highest thing of anything because it was a fence row. So I was high up on the ground. That snowy owl came from behind me. That's why I didn't hear anything at all.
And he sat
And he
down.
sat on my
Holy
fucking
shit.
head. This is honest to God truth. And like for not a little bit, like I went back and looked at
perching.
It perched up there because he was looking at the honker that I killed. Because the honker that I killed was right by me. So I had that snowy owl sitting, like, I looked at the timestamps on the pictures because I was looking through the pictures, and then all the honkers' heads are up. It was like 30 seconds. I was scared to death. I was going to die right then.
That's unbelievable.
I thought it was a human. And then I said, what's up? And I got no response. And I sat there in sheer fear, shitting my pants. Because, like, okay, you snuck up out here. I'm thinking it's a human, like, and you put your hand on my head, and then I said something, like, and then no response back.
Right, yeah. They're ready to kill you.
Just creepy silence. And then it's a snowy owl. So he's right behind me, jumps off my head, and, like, lands right there. He's looking at me. I'm looking at him, and we're both like, what the hell? Like, what are you doing here? And then he flies in. He, like, loops around the decoys and then landed on the the fence post, like
Out
the
in front of you,
next
like
fence
100
post,
yards
like
over.
100 some yards.
Yeah.
I got a picture of him.
Damn.
Out there on the fence post. Like I have a picture of the snowy owl, but I don't tell that story very much because it just makes me sound like I was doing meth out there in the field.
That's
like,
unreal.
It's so bizarre.
Well, you're in the area to do meth too.
Yeah, yeah. My next door neighbor.
That's
He made the newspaper again yesterday.
Oh no.
just putting Ted on blast.
Oh my gosh,
Dude, I think that's the craziest hunting story we've had so far. You were so still that a snowy owl landed on your damn head.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep.
Because have you seen that? Remember, like the show Fight Science?
No.
No, they did like cool shit where they kick a crash test dummy, where it's like every type of martial artist, like who has the strongest punch,
Okay. Yep.
who has the strongest kick, and like they would kick a crash test dummy. It's like, oh, the Muay Thai artist had 2,000 pounds of pressure in his kick.
Yep.
And it shows like they did an X-ray thing, so you could see the momentum through his like lead foot going up his leg. You can see all those muscles tense up and release in the other leg. Coolest shit ever. And then they did something of a pigeon flying over, and you can hear the pigeon. Then it did like a canary. Then it did a snowy owl. No noise.
No, I can.
Zero noise.
I will
gonna
test
test that.
I will
Yeah.
test.
You can hear it like with the pigeon.
Yeah.
They did a duck. Like they did all these different birds, and an owl, literally zero
Yep.
decibels.
Yep.
It's like, holy shit. So that's why the Native Americans put owl feathers, in their bows or in their
On
arrows.
their arrows, right?
Because the animals couldn't hear it coming. It's
Yep.
just like, whoa, it's so cool.
Yep.
That's so sick.
Unbelievable.
It was
Carter.
so crazy when his claws, like just barely, not enough to do any damage or hurt, but it was just such a weird feeling in my head when his
Yeah.
claws
like slowly
he pushed
reach
off
out into-
enough because I was turning my head, so he was
Yeah.
freaked out that this fence post is moving, and he just pushes off like that, and as he pushes off, the claws like just pierced my hat enough to just like not pierce my head, but like I could
Yeah,
feel,
yeah, like
feel
a
it.
prick.
You could feel the pressure.
Whoa, that's the weirdest place my head's ever been in my life right
Well,
there.
and you're already
That
like
just-
on guard.
Oh, full.
Oh no shit! You thought
So
you were
you're
dying.
feeling like your sixth
and now you're
sense
being
is out.
injected. Here's a
Yeah.
needle going in your
Yeah.
head.
Oh,
Dude, well, in
That's
like
cool.
raptor centers, right? Like even at Game Fair, they have like falconers there, and like you can see
Yeah.
the amount of leather that they have on their arms
Yeah.
and
Oh,
shit. And like an owl has like some of the sharpest talons out there.
I'm glad he didn't grab a hold. He was
Yeah.
leaving.
No
That
shit,
was
yeah.
good. So,
Unreal.
That's so nuts.
oh my gosh.
Holy shit, dude! Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Hell yeah, it was awesome.
Thank you for
Great.
the salmon.
You bet. Sorry for crushing your hopes and dreams 10 years ago. I'll
It's
make
okay,
it up to
dude. it made me a better person.
No, but now you're a recurring guest. So once you come on once, you have to come on anytime now.
you. Okay.
So that's how it works.
I think
go
we'll just
chase-
have to do a hunt together.
Let's go chase some bands.
Oh,
I'll
this
be
is a
fun.
band year, dude.
I'll find them.
This is the band year.
Yeah, on Tuesday, Joey shot 15 of 40 were banded in no
If I
doubt.
would have been there, it would have been 20, but
For sure. 100%.
Yeah, you would have shot more.
Guys, go
Unreal.
find Cory Loeffler on Instagram at Cory Loeffler. And then also go follow his call page at DRC Call Company.
yeah,
Right?
dear.
Yes.
Yeah. You bet. Let's go cook something.
Hell
Let's
yeah.
go cook some shit.
Thanks for coming, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
See
Hey,
ya.
leave us a review, guys. See you soon.
Hey,
Like
Cory,
and subscribe.
one more thing.